Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your boy Jamsys, and we're doing a bit of a different video again on my channel, but okay, you guys want to know because you're not in my guild, but we are having like a life guild plus destiny guild, like a in-house tournament right now, and I'm in the semi-finals for it, and a few people have asked me why I don't join tournaments, and like might as well take the time out to like talk about it here. Anyway, this game is a best out of 5 with stacking pre-bans. So there's 2 pre-bans from the start from each player, but then each player like adds 1 as you go on. But the main reason I joined Weird Freudian Slip, the reason I don't join tournaments mainly is because my account is very specialized, as I like to say. It's not too great at anything. It's pretty mid, honestly, except for like a few outliers here and there. But the main strength of my account is that I'm really able to bully slower players, but that requires you having like openers and like being able to contest. But in tournament settings where they just get banned out, like I really suffer. And so I didn't really want to join this, but then, you know, like people in my guild kept calling me. I'm actually not allowed to swear for the first 5 minutes or anything, so like basically I was goaded on by the people in my guild to join this tournament, and so I did. Anyway, I had some specialized pre-bans because I did a little bit of scouting on my opponent, and my opponent did some like specialized pre-bans against me. I did ungear my Lua for this because I anticipated it, so thank God that my Lua is not on good gear right now. But I first picked Stenny just because she's like the most flexible, and I don't think people are gonna go like balls to the walls cleave from round 1. And then my opponent responded with Shooting Star Arcades and SC Arrowell. So I took the time to respond with DJB plus Flitica because DJB is pretty good against the first 2, and Flitica is also pretty good against the first 2, especially since we have like Soul Burn with Stenny, and we can just pick another book if you have to. And I think my opponent wasn't expecting this because I think they were expecting me to go like harder core cleave, but they end up picking interesting picks. I was thinking about slamming Rand, but like we can't slam Rand in this position. We just need a foolproof way to hit this Landy and kill it. And so what I chose to do here was I picked a bunch of disruption, like Poultice will reveal Landy S3, and Dilbit S3 also reveals Landy, and we also have Flitica S2. And since we picked another book, we can always reset Shooting Star Arcades. And my opponent's in like a really tough spot where they can't really press any Celius buttons to stop Flitica unless they want to like activate a bunch of hand traps. But if he pulls an S1, I don't think empowered Landy S3 does enough, especially without like a vigor buff, because I'm assuming my opponent's not going to press. They pick MLCan, which is very threatening because my team is like pretty low damage without Stenny, so I just opt to ban that out. And my opponent, I think I actually won this draft pretty hard. Like my opponent doesn't seem to have like very many outs because Landy's not actually shielded by SC Arrowell until SC Arrowell herself gets to press S3. So we have unstoppable cleansers in Designer a little bit, and well, like I guess DJB isn't unstoppable, but I doubt the Celius is like an effectiveness conk. And I did switch over my DJB. I did switch my DJB over to what's it called? Soul Constellation, because I needed the Eternatus for another unit. But we're going into the first match here, and I don't anticipate this one going that long. Celius does go first, which is to be expected. It looks like this Landy is about 260, which is like pretty standard for Landy, but they don't get the 1 in 3 chance to pull Landy and push up, so that kind of sucks. And I'm not an immunity gamer, so yeah, I'm pretty much free to do what I wish here. I actually go for the Soul Burn onto not Shooting Star, something Horizon Arcades. We're just gonna call it Light Arcades, but anyways, we just need to push everything up and murder this Landy because my designer a little bit is on Golden Rose, so she should be able to like solo out this team given like, you know, it goes long enough. And we just basically dump all our cooldowns into Landy, and my opponent has no DPS while I still have supports plus Stenny on the board. So my opponent does decide to GG out of there, which is like a pretty clean first match. So we're like feeling pretty good. And yeah, oh, I've been forgetting to say this in my past few videos, but if you do like my content and want to see more of it and would like to support me, please like, subscribe, whatever. And Life and Destiny are recruiting. I think Life is only recruiting like legend players, and I don't know too many legend players that watch my videos, but like Destiny is like pretty much like for everybody. So feel free to apply, like DM me and I'll refer you to people. And we're going into second match, and as I said, the pre-bans are stacking, so I don't personally have Celia's geared right now due to the very, very weird unit choice that I have geared. My opponent bans Ran, which I thought was a little surprising because I didn't pick Ran. Like, I thought they would ban like Politica or something, but they opt to pick Stenny first this game, and I'm like, okay, whatever. So I'm gonna go for a very regular aggro setup. I picked Sylvan Sage Rivian very early here, but again, in these types of games, like Sylvan Sage Rivian is here to kind of bait standard options. Like, she's not there to actually like solo carry against Stenny. Like, I guess she could if they draft poorly, but she's mostly there as an AoE damage dealer that holds book. You know, like that's all her job is. My opponent here is taking a bit of time to think, but you know, I respect it. You know, we can't all just be monkeys like me who just fucking slam the first unit they think of. My opponent picks a little passively here, so I decided to pick Narwhal and Bryce Area because like they're pretty good into like the top 3. But one thing I neglected to think about was that my opponent can go like our team comp is like pretty debuff heavy. Like, even though our team doesn't like rely too hard on, like, we have Sylvan Sage Rivian, so like technically we can beat things like Designer a little bit and stuff. Like, I think there's a little too much support, so like in hindsight, I guess like maybe I wouldn't pick Narwhal. I think I would have picked Politica in this slot again, because I think Politica is just a little bit more flexible. She kind of shuts down the team for a lot longer. My opponent picks very intelligently here. Like, they pick, what's this thing called? Fire Lilius, sorry. And they end up picking Edward. And I pick Politis here to give myself a second book and to proc off the Lilius proc. But I think I made a mistake. I think in hindsight, if I were to do this again, I would actually pick another blue unit here, whether that's like Arya or something. Like, I think I would pick Arya here in hindsight because Yolha actually does not beat Arya by herself, like in time. Like, since a lot of her damage comes from the Aureus, like the whole team's gonna die before Arya is done with them, if it makes sense. But this still looks pretty winnable, so like I'm pretty like satisfied. They banned DJB, which is like to prevent the CR push, which makes sense, I guess. But we ban out Edward so we can press all our buttons, because pressing our buttons is fun. We soulburn here with Narwhal just so we could reduce like the chance of getting 15%ed on like Hingai or something, because we would instantly lose if they're able to cleanse off the buffs. And there's honestly no point in sealing anything. We have to push back this Fire Lilius so she's unable to soulburn an S3 and then cleanse everything off. But one thing I neglected to notice was that Lilius pushed up so much that it's about to cut my Sylvan Sage Rivian, and my Sylvan Sage Rivian is not on immunity, which is one of the big reasons why my Sylvan Sage Rivian kind of sucks. And I kind of soulburned everything just to be safe, but I think I had to greed. Like, I should have looked at the CR bar and greeded a little bit here and like not soulburn one thing. I think it was okay not to soulburn Knockwall because, you know, she has effectiveness. Like, getting 15% of it isn't that common, but Fire Lilius is actually able to soulburn here, and my Politis isn't squishy with no damage, so Fire Lilius is actually able to survive because we have no like attack buffs of any kind. I guess something else I could have done is I could have moved Sylvan Sage Vivian onto like an attack imprint and that might have helped me to clean up this team. But I honestly thought that Sylvan Sage Vivian was able to get a turn here, but now that Sylvan Sage is provoked, she doesn't really do anything because she can't S3. She actually goes for the provoke onto Briar Witch 2, and I think I had a chance to win here again if I was able to push back the Fire Lilius behind Sylvan Sage, so that Sylvan Sage is able to cycle forward with her speed buff, and I think that might have gotten me the win. But I made a mistake where I got like a little too in my head about like a game that I thought I was going to win like pretty decisively, not working out. I go for the stun fish onto Yolha, we don't get it, so we're pretty much over here. So I decided to tap out of that match. I really did think I was gonna win there, but you know, sometimes things happen, and this is why tourney settings are so different, because like on ladder, if you lose, it's like whatever. Like I lose all the time. My win rate last season was pretty bad. Like it was above 50. Like it wasn't that bad, but like it was like not in the 60s, you know, like the average legend win rate or anything. But in RTA, like losing doesn't really matter because you just need a lucky streak to get up. So even if you lose like 10 games in a row right before legend, if you win like 20 in a row, you can still end legend. But in a tourney setting, games like this really matter. So you have to be really careful, and I think that's like really stressing me out as a person with like anxiety and stuff. But like it's fine. One loss on the board, not too bad. We ban out a fast opener. I'm not sure if they have it geared, but like, you know, YOLO. But if you haven't noticed, basically all the fast openers that people like to have geared are gone. Zeo's gone, Rand's gone, Peyra's gone, Silo's just gone. So in an environment where there isn't anything that outspeeds her, Flitica is actually a really good pick. So I go ahead and slam her down as a first pick here. Maybe I should have went for Steny or something, but I think it's always nice to have like the option to have like turn 1 priority. So I prioritize getting turn 1 because if I need to, like I can pivot out. Like Flitica does, like, I mean, she's not good at it, but she like could be in standard, you know? But my opponent goes for AOL. I kind of forgot this unit existed because like who the fuck picks AOL? Who the fuck? It's past 5 minutes, right? Okay, yeah, it is. Okay. So I decide to go out and and send out like a pocket pick that I've been developing just for this match, which is LMFAO. She's also another really good unit, as long as your opponent doesn't have a lot of immunities, and as long as your opponent can't outspeed you. And my opponent is like pretty much like bending over here already. Like he can decide to speed up in the 3, 4, 5 position, but that's still gonna be like pretty hard, especially since I can just imprint up myself. But as I was saying, yeah, YouTube apparently does not like it if you swear in videos anymore, but it's okay as long as you do it past like the 5-minute mark. So that's why I was like, ooh, swearing after 5 minutes, but whatever. I will say though, like this tournament experience has been pretty fun. It's just like stressful, so like I don't know if I would do it again. We did have prizes, so I think first place is $100, second place is $50, and third and fourth place is $25. So as long as I win this match, I'm like guaranteed like $25, which is like monthlies for a month, which is like pretty nice, especially since Rift is so good right now. But my opponent opts to pick Politis and Steny here, which I thought were like pretty interesting picks. Politis, I'm assuming, is just there so I can't press any of my buttons, but I decide to pick a little bit unorthodox here. So what I do is I pick Ida Jacko. Normally Ida would be pretty bad here, but as long as I can proc AOL shield and I strip it immediately after, it's not that bad. And I picked Jacko here just as like an additional bridge / Caval activator. So we basically have 4 Caval activators on this team because my alpha ult is built on, what's it called? My alpha ult is built on, oh, I'm forgetting the name. My elf ult is built on 100% crit, 100% crit. My opponent last picks Rem. I was contemplating banning AOL, but if they ban Cavill, I have like really shitty ways of killing this Rem, which I do not want to risk. So I decided to just go for the really safe route and ban Rem. I had a feeling my opponent was just gonna ban Cavill anyway, since we just have like way too many Cavill activators. So I think I make a misplay here, because I think what I should have done is I should have put Ida or Jacko in the back slot, and I'll show you what I mean later. But basically, my Flitica is faster than my elf ult, so Flitica should be able to go first, like S3 this AOL, and then like go from there. But we do get speed RNG'd. Elf ult gets to go first, which is like fine. So we're just gonna soul burn into Angel of Light because we don't want to get 15%ed. But we get 15%ed in a different way here, spoiler alert, where my elf ult is missing one Mola. So she doesn't actually sleep this AOL, which means that AOL doesn't actually get death broken, which is giga trolling. Oh my god. The game's already not going too great. We don't want to S3 A Tywin here because that would mean that A Tywin just cleanses off the death break, and I need the death break to kill this AOL, I think. Or like we get more Aureus damage on A Tywin. And this is what I mean by putting Jacko in the back. So if we put Jacko in the back, we would have been able to delete the AOL here with death buff. Like we kill like AOL 2 times over with this. But with this S1, I have to stun. And we do, luckily. But if we did not get the stun here, we would have instantly lost because Ida S3 would have gotten cleansed off. But this is a Dijon Poly, which kind of sucks. But I'm pretty confident that my effectiveness Ida is able to just stun Tywin and Steny, but Steny resists. Like, apparently this is a resist Steny because Steny just resisted my Ida stun through 15%, and now Steny is able to just go have a field day and soul burn through my entire team, and that means I lose. Alpha getting Mola 15% and then Ida getting 15% costs me this match because I don't think I can come back from here anymore, just because we don't really have good reach. I guess the one saving grace I have is if my Jacko is able to cut here somehow, and then we S1 A Tywin and the S1 splashes into Steny, but we get stunned here by A Tywin. This ignores ER, and then Steny's gonna like invert our team HP bar and kill us. So I decided to FF here. And suddenly from a really commanding 1-0, I ended up in a position where I am 2-1, which I am not liking. But you know, losing's a part of the game. I lose all the time, even in like Valorant, bro. I lose all the time, so like I'm not gonna let it get to me. I banned Zahawk here because this guy's like a Zahawk simp, or like they really like Zahawk. So I was like, what if it's really fast, you know? But all the fast openers are out, which means that Ahmed Cleave is now in. So we first pick Ahmed. Not first pick. I should have said I should have went for second pick here because I know my opponent is not going to go for Politis. If I give him first pick, he's going to take Steny. So I think I made that mistake here. Like I definitely should have let my opponent get first pick because this draft really appreciates the ability to be more responsive. And I gave my opponent like a lot of the tempo to do so, which is not great. But still, we're not going to be discouraged. Well, I didn't even know that at the time. Like, it doesn't matter. But we're going to keep going. We pick, like, regular Ahmed Cleave. We're setting up for something. I think instead of Zahawk, I should have just banned this A Tywin or AOL or something because they're, like, really annoying. But my opponent's able to, like, anti-cleave it up. And then since I banned an Aiden answer, they're able to pick Aiden now, which is like even more Monka Giga. But it should be fine. Zio is pre-banned, so I think they're trying to pick Steny or something here. Or like another dark unit. Like they're not picking Zio, so I don't have to worry about that. But I'm definitely going to pick Flan, but I need to pick a DPS that deals with all of this, which is not going to be easy. I pick Flan here, but I need a really good last pick DPS that can kill through a miss or something. I think in hindsight, what I should have done is, I don't know, but it wasn't this BBK, because I think what I needed to pick here was I actually needed to pick like a Kize or something that would really benefit from Ahmed, because BBK is like an okay Ahmed bridge, but since this A Taiwan is on Aureus, that really sucks. Like I couldn't even pick like DC into this team because there's too much cock blocking it. They pick Kayron, but due to Bryceria and A Taiwan, like we cannot let Kayron through because Ahmed's skill nulls are not gonna matter. And then I think my opponent's gonna punish me really hard here. I think what I should have picked in the last slot is actually A Leica, because I think A Leica, or at least my A Leica, should be able to kill this Aiden through a miss because of the target defense penetration. And they obviously ban Flan for the death breaks, which kind of sucks. Maybe we should have went for like another Cavill, like Elfelt Cavill. I think would have been pretty good here too, actually, because we would have been able to S3 Soulburn Sid and then get another S3. So like that was another play that was possible, but you know what? We're not gonna think too much about it. Like we definitely should have picked Elfelt Cavill, I think, instead. Yeah, maybe Cavill would have been better here, but my BBK is not 6k attack, so that kind of sucks. Sid is able to actually cut here, which is pretty good. I decide to save souls here for next game or something, and then I decide to just go for the AOL to soften up the enemy team. But I think this is a mistake, because had I just S3'd A Tywin, we would have been able to proc AOL, and then AOL would have been able to push up my Politis, which would have let me strip this Bryceria. But unluckily, even with Wind Rider and Stealth, we're unable to actually cut or do anything. And now Politis S3 kind of has to hit everything here, or else we're just kind of doomed. But of course we don't hit, so we kind of are doomed. So we're not in a great position, and by this point, like, I'm already speed running the 3 stages of grief. Like, I thought I won the second and third game, but somehow we ended up here because I kept misplaying and getting unlucky and stuff. So we're like disparaged. Like, I was so close to top writing, but this is a lesson. This is a lesson for anyone who wants to play RTA seriously. Unless you are like literally dead, like, and you really want to try hard and sweat like climbing, don't FF. Like, do not FF. The stars are about to align for me in a way that has never aligned before. Politis somehow resists the fucking stun somehow. We're not gonna complain. She still gets death broken, but we still have a chance because Politis has a soul burn here, and then maybe we're able to pull miracles out of her ass. We pull miracle number 1 out of her ass, where we hit Aiden and drag Acid, which kills. And then we pull miracle number 2 out of her ass by dual attacking A Tywin with Sid. And then my opponent is suddenly put in like a giga losing position from a win. And then you can see my guildmate just say, what the fuck was that, in the guild chat. But like, honestly, me too. Like, my face when I was playing this was like, what the fuck is going on here? But whatever. It's fine, it's fine. So we go into round 5, and it's gonna be interesting. Ahmed's gonna get banned out like 100%. I think I'm probably gonna ban out the 8 Tywin because I'm sick of dealing with that thing. Like, Jesus, like 3 games in a row. If you guys don't remember the OG Golden Boys meta, I am a non-immunity believer now, but I was even less of an immunity believer back then. So you best believe I died to 8 Tywin back in the days when he would fucking slow down you and then lap you a million times while stunning you. Like, oh my god. Anyway, we're setting up the bans for the last match, but I still do have a few openers left. Like, I did gear like a few weird things. Like, I geared like green Leica and stuff, so there's that. But we kind of managed to stabilize at 2-2, like quote unquote stabilize, even though we kind of fucking luck stacked really fucking hard last game. But we're not gonna worry too much about it. We're gonna ban a Taiwan like normal people instead of just getting terrorized by the same unit like 10 games in a row. My opponent gets first picks, and I assume that means they're gonna pick Steny because, like, obviously, what else would you pick? This late into the game. I kind of don't want to give away that I am cleaving that, like, not cleaving, or like being aggressive that early. So I decided to like try and pretend to be a normal person by picking, what's it called? Hand guy. I was thinking about picking politics. Like I was so close to just like saying fuck the bullshit and picking green Leica and going. But I decide to just be like a normal human being for once. And we go for the, what's it called? Hand guy Bryce Syria. It's kind of a weird opener. Like, I guess normal people, what they would actually do here is they would pick hand guy plus AOL or something. But I didn't really feel like dealing with that. Or like, I had a plan in my head, okay? But I think if I were to play this again, I would pick Politis Green Leica here, because that sets me up for a Giger winnerage position where I can pick Landy, Emo Leica, plus Flan at the end, and then that should be able to deal with any kind of team comp that shows up. So that's kind of a mistake, but you know, mistake happened and it's fine. It's just something, it's a learning experience. Like, people think I'm really good at RTA, but it's not. I'm just experienced. Or like, how do I say it? Like, a lot of people think that like being good at RTA is like a talent, but like with many things in life, like if you just play it more, you get better at it. And this is the same for tournament matches. I decided to pick Politis here because I want to pick Flan, but I think what I should have done is, I don't know. I just don't like this position in hindsight. Like, I definitely have, like, Politis is actually a really good pick here, but this Flan is kind of not. Like, if I had a fast closer Charles, like, this would be the place to pick it. Or if I had, like, a green Pavel, like, this would have been, like, an excellent place to pick that. But I have neither of those geared, so we're kind of stuck here. My opponent picks Rem, which kind of sucks because it looks like we have to ban this thing again. So I'm kind of kicking myself for picking hand guy, especially since my hand guy is not like a DPS hand guy or anything. So we're kind of panicking, as you can tell by me just flickering through the picks. I'm kind of just scrolling through. Like, we can't pick Arya because Arya loses to Ram. Dark Corvus loses to Ram. I don't really want to pick Aiden to Steny. I guess I can pick Weedred because Weedred is kind of like reach for my opponent's team. But my opponent actually picks APOC, which I think I can ignore pretty well. Because what I can do is I can either ignore APOC altogether because of Bryce Area, or I have Flan Politis to just cleave it down with a death break. So I was just like, oh, I see the light at the end of the tunnel. We ban out Rem. I'm pretty sure my Flan is faster than Amelia, or like, even if it does, I don't think it matters too much because we have Politis. My opponent bans out the Weedred, I'm guessing to protect the Politis, but we also fuck up our imprints. Like, Bryce Area should be in the back and hand guy should be on top so we can give the Flan imprint to them, but whatever. I'm making a lot of mistakes, but like, it's a learning experience. Like, it's definitely a learning experience. But we start off the match with a Flan S3. My Flan has around 150 effectiveness, so I'm hoping this lands on Amelia because it's like on the speeder side, and luckily we do. And this Amelia is on Eternus, which cuts back up, but it doesn't cut up as much thanks to Politis. And I was debating on who to push up here, but then I remembered like my Briar has like way more DPS stats than Politis, so like, why am I bringing up Politis? So we go ahead and rip this Briar, which has 3 here, but with death breaks and attack buff and crit damage buff, it does so much damage to my opponent's team. Arrowwell dies to the escorts, then he just dies because death break, and we're able to just go ahead and press our poultice buttons. I guess I could have tried to S2 and try to kill Amelia, but this is a safer play overall. We kill Amelia even through a miss thanks to death break, and now my opponent is left with an APOG at 4k HP that is death broken and unhealable. So we barely win by the skin of our teeth. But yeah, thanks for watching, and as always, I'll catch you next time. Like, tourney settings are like a very foreign concept to me, so being able to just, you know, clutch how to win was a pretty unique experience. But yeah, I'll catch you next time, guys. Laters.